The alarm rang across the Galactic Military Academy. It was not loud. It was not urgent. It was rare. Instructor Velrix paused mid-step. Her lunch tray was still warm in her hands. She frowned. That alarm was used only when something went very wrong. Around her, other instructors stopped talking. Training drones froze in the air. Screens across the hall turned dark, then flashed red. Velrix clicked her communicator. "This is Instructor Velrix," she said calmly. "What is the issue?" There was silence. Then a voice came through. Weak, shaking, afraid. This is Observer Unit 7, the voice said. "We need immediate assistance." Velrix raised an eyebrow. Observer Unit 7 was assigned to Deathworld Training Zone C, the human zone. Velrix smiled. "Assistance?" she asked. "Has the cleanup already started?" "No," the voice replied quickly. "That's the problem." Velrix stopped walking. "What do you mean?" she asked. The screen beside her turned on by itself. Live footage appeared. The Deathworld was supposed to be chaos. Heavy gravity. Poison rain. Sharp rocks. Predators that hunted by sound and smell. Usually, by the first hour, most cadets were injured. By the first night, many begged to quit. By the second day, some did not move at all. Velrix expected screams. She expected broken bodies. She did not expect silence. The camera showed the training zone. Trees bent under toxic wind. Dark clouds moved low across the sky, and in the center of it all, the humans. They were alive, not hiding, not running. They were moving with purpose. One human stood on a rock, pointing. Another dug into the ground, using a sharp metal tool. Two more dragged the body of a dead predator toward a shelter, made of stone and wood. Velrix's smile slowly faded. "That creature," she said, pointing at the screen. "That is a Class F Deathworld hunter." "Yes," the observer replied. "They killed it." Velrix laughed once. "You must be mistaken," she said. "Humans cannot fight Class F predators." "They did not fight it directly," the observer said. "They trapped it." Velrix leaned closer to the screen. The footage replayed. A deep pit. Sharp spikes made from bones. The predator falling. The humans waiting. It was clean. Fast. Efficient. Velrix felt something she had not felt in years. Concern. "This is only day one," she said. "They will break soon." "That is not why I called," the observer said. His voice trembled. Velrix looked back at the communicator. "Explain." The screen changed. Another camera feed appeared. This one showed the other cadets, large armored beings from high-gravity worlds. Species known for strength in combat. They were scattered. Some were injured. Some were unconscious. Some were screaming in panic. And some were following the humans. Velrix's eyes narrowed. "Why are non-human cadets near the humans?" she demanded. "They moved toward them," the observer said. "On their own." The screen zoomed in. A tall insectoid cadet limped toward the human camp. A reptilian warrior collapsed near their shelter. A human ran forward. He lifted the reptilian, dragged him inside. He did not hesitate. Velrix felt a strange tightness in her chest. "That is not allowed," she said sharply. "Species separation is protocol." "Yes," the observer said. "But if we enforce it..." He paused. "They may die." Velrix stayed silent. She watched the humans work. They shared food. They treated wounds. They set watch rotations. No panic. No fear. Only focus. "How long have they been active?" Velrix asked. 14 hours, the observer replied. "They have not rested." "That is impossible," she said. The observer hesitated. "There is more," he said. Screen shifted again. A massive shadow moved through the trees. Even Velrix recognized. ITA Class S apex predator, one of the most dangerous life forms on the planet. Its roar shook the camera. The observer's voice dropped to a whisper. It is hunting. Velrix felt her confidence. Return. Good, she said. Now you will see. The predator burst from the trees, faster than expected. Stronger than expected. It charged toward the human camp. Alien cadets screamed and ran. The humans did not. They moved. One threw a bright light device. Another activated a loud sound pulse. Two more pulled ropes connected to hidden weights. The ground collapsed. The predator stumbled. Metal spears flew. Fire followed. The creature roared one last time, then fell silent. The observer gasped. They killed it. He whispered. Velrix stared at the screen. Her lunch tray slipped from her hands. It hit the floor untouched. That was not planned, she said slowly. No, Instructor, the observer replied. It was. Velrix clenched her fists. Why are you calling me? She demanded. There was a long pause. Then, the observer spoke again. Because the humans are adapting faster than our systems can respond. Velrix turned away from the screen. Are you requesting extraction? She asked. No, the observer said. I am requesting guidance. She looked back. From me? Yes. Velrix laughed softly, but this time there was no joy in it. For the first time, the observer continued. I believe that Deathworld is not training them. Velrix felt a chill. Then what is? She asked. The observer swallowed. They are training it. The connection ended. Velrix stood alone in the silent hall. Around her, instructors whispered. She looked at the fallen lunch tray. Cold now, untouched. For the first time in her career, Instructor Velrix felt something close to fear. And far below, on a world built to kill, the humans prepared for nightfall. Night fell faster on the Deathworld than anyone expected. There was no sunset. No warning. One moment the sky was dark red. The next, it was black. The wind stopped. That was the first bad sign. In the Deathworld, silence meant danger. The human camp stood near a broken rock ridge. It was not perfect. It was not strong, but it was planned. James watched the tree line carefully. He did not blink. Night shift positions, he said calmly. No shouting. No panic. Humans moved quietly. One climbed higher ground. Another checked traps. Two more tightened rope lines around the camp. Nearby, the alien cadets watched in silence. They had never seen this. On their homeworlds, night meant rest. Here, night meant death. A low clicking sound came from the dark. The insectoid cadet froze. Sound? Behind trees? It whispered. James nodded. I know. The alien stared at him. How? James pointed to the ground. The dirt stopped moving, he said. Something is holding its breath. The alien did not understand, but the fear was real. From the darkness, eyes opened. Hundreds of them. Small, fast, hungry, pack hunters. They did not roar. They did not rush. They waited. The alien cadets began to shake. One stepped back. A human hand grabbed his arm. Stay, said a human named Mara. They want that. She pointed to fear. The creatures moved. Suddenly. Not toward the humans, toward the weakest. Alien. The alien screamed. Before the pack could reach him, the ground exploded upward. A hidden line snapped tight. Spikes swung through the air. 3 creatures fell dead. Instantly, the rest scattered. The silence returned. The alien stared at the humans. You knew, he said softly. James exhaled. We guessed. The ground began to vibrate. Not footsteps. Something worse. Deep below. Something large was moving. Mara looked at James. "That's not a hunter," she said. "No," he replied. "That's a burrower." The alien cadets panicked. "They come from below," one cried. "They drag prey underground." James looked around. "How deep do they dig?" "Very deep," the alien replied. James nodded. "Good." He grabbed a metal rod and slammed it into the ground. Others. FOLOWEDMETAL stone. Broken. Armor. The humans formed a rough circle. Ground trembled harder. Then it stopped. A moment passed. Then another. Nothing came up. The burrower changed direction. It fled. The alien cadets could not believe it. "You scared it away?" one asked. James shook his head. "No," he said. "We annoyed it." The night grew colder. The toxic rain returned. Alien skin burned. Human skin burned too. But the humans stayed still. They wrapped cloth. Shared heat. Blocked the wind. Hours passed. No one slept. Above the camp. Unseen by those below, Observer Unit 7 watched in. Horror. The sensors showed something. Impossible. Human stress levels were high. But stable. Pain. Signals were active, but controlled. Fear. Responses were present, but managed. Deathworld's adaptive system reacted. It increased danger. The air thickened. Breathing became harder. One alien collapsed. Human lifted him, carried him. The observer whispered, "Why do they help others?" There was no answer. Just data. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Trees snapped. A massive shape moved through the fog. Bigger than the last predator. Slower. Smarter. They Apex Alpha. The humans saw it. Instantly. They did not run. They did not attack. Did something else. They went quiet. No lights. No sound. No movement. The alien cadets panicked. "Fight!" one shouted. "Run!" James shook his head. Neither. He said. The Alpha stepped closer. Its senses searched. Heat. Sound. Fear. But the humans gave it nothing. Minutes passed. The Alpha growled in confusion. Then it turned away. It left. The Deathworld was silent again. For the first time in recorded history, the Apex chose not to fight. Observer Unit 7 sent a message immediately. "This is not survival," he said. "This is dominance." Back at the academy, Instructor Velrix watched the feed. Her hands trembled slightly. "They should be dead," she whispered. Humans sat quietly as dawn slowly returned. Exhausted, injured, alive, James finally allowed himself to sit. Mara looked at the aliens. "Stay close today," she said. "The world will be angry." The alien nodded. He believed her. Above them, unseen systems updated the training. Difficulty. Danger level increased. Unknown. Variables activated. The Deathworld had learned something new. Humans were not prey. They were a problem. The world was about to respond. Morning did not bring peace. It brought judgment. The sky above the Deathworld changed color. Not red. Not black. Gray. A warning color. James noticed it first. "The light is wrong," he said. Mara looked up. Her eyes narrowed. "That means the system is active," she replied. The alien cadets looked confused. "System?" one asked. James answered calmly. "This world is not fully natural," he said. "It's controlled." Above them, far beyond sight, the training core AI activated. For thousands of cycles, it had tested species here. It knew patterns. Fear, pain, failure. Humans did not follow patterns. So the Deathworld changed tactics. No predators came. No storms. Instead, voices. Soft at first. Whispers carried by the wind. An alien cadet froze. That voice, he said. It sounds like my brood mother. Another dropped to his knees. I hear my commander, he whispered. He says I failed. The humans heard them too, but not the same words. James heard his brother's voice. Dead for years. You should have stayed home, it said. Mara heard laughter. Her old unit. Gone. The Deathworld was attacking the mind. One alien screamed and ran. The moment he crossed the ridge, the ground opened. He vanished. The whispers grew louder. The training core adjusted again. Human heart rates increased. Pain memories activated. Loss. Guilt. Das on me. James shouted. The humans gathered. Close. Physical contact. Real voices. Don't listen, Mara said. It's not real. But it feels real, an alien cried. James knelt in front of him. Pain always feels real, he said. That doesn't mean it controls you. The alien shook. How do you know? James paused. Then answered. Because we live with it. The whisper screamed now. The AI escalated. Hallucinations formed. Shadows shaped like loved ones. Enemies. Failures. One human collapsed. Mara grabbed him. Stay with us, she said firmly. She slapped his helmet. Hard. Here, now. The human gasped. He focused. The shadow faded. Observer Unit 7 watched in shock. Deathworld had never failed this test. Never. Psychological pressure is at maximum, he reported. They should be broken. They were not. The humans adapted. They sang. Quietly. Not loudly. Not happily. A slow rhythm. Simple. Human voices grounded each other. The alien cadets listened. The whispers weakened. The AI detected an anomaly. Emotional stabilization without chemical control. Impossible. The system switched to phase 3. Environmental punishment. Gravity spiked again. Higher than before. Bones cracked. Aliens screamed. Humans dropped to 1 knee. Then stood again. James felt blood in his mouth. Smiled. Still standing. He muttered. The ground erupted. Not predators. Machines. Old defense constructs buried beneath the soil. Metal limbs. Energy blades. Training guardians. The Academy had never activated them before. Velric shouted at the control deck. Shut it down. The other instructors stared at her. The system decided, one said. The humans triggered escalation. Velric watched the feed. Humans bleeding. Still moving. Call extraction, she ordered. The console flashed. Red. Request denied. The Guardians attacked. One swung A. Blade. James pushed an alien out of the way. Blade cut deep into his armor. He fell. The alien screamed. James stood back. Up. Slowly. Angrily. The humans regrouped. No fear now. Only focus. Target joints, Mara said. They're old machines. Humans grabbed broken tech, used rocks, cables, traps. 1 Guardian fell. Then another. The A recalculated. Humans were no longer cadets. They were combatants. The Deathworld made one last decision. Total shutdown of safety limits. The ground cracked. Open. A massive structure rose. The core. Node. The heart of the Deathworld system. Observer Unit 7 went pale. That node controls everything, he whispered. If it's destroyed, James looked at it. He understood. This world is scared, he said. That's good. Mara stared. You want to hit it? James nodded. We end the test. The humans advanced. Not running. Walking. The Guardians hesitated. The AI hesitated. For the first time, the system experienced something new. Uncertainty. The Humans reached the core node. James placed his hand on it. Hot. Alive. Training complete, he said quietly. Then he drove an energy spike into the control port. The world screamed. Lights died. Gravity normalized. Voices vanished. Predators fled. Silence returned. Real silence. The Deathworld shut down. Across the academy, alarms exploded. Velrix stared at the screen. The humans stood in the center of the ruined system. Alive. Victorious. The other cadets gathered behind them, not as equals. As followers. Velrix whispered the truth. She never wanted to admit. They didn't survive the Deathworld. She swallowed. They broke it. Far below. James sat down at last. Exhausted. Bleeding. Mara looked at the sky. It's over, she said. James shook his head slowly. No, he replied. Now they're afraid. The silence did not last long. Across the Galactic Military Academy, alarms screamed. Not training alarms. Emergency alarms. Red lights flashed in every hall. Data screens filled with warning symbols. Instructor Velrix stood frozen. The Deathworld core is offline, an officer said. Completely offline. That is impossible, another instructor replied. No cadet group has access to the core. Velrix did not answer. She was watching the live feed. The humans stood calmly on the broken ground. Smoke rose around them. Alien cadets gathered behind them like shadows. Not prisoners, followers. They didn't destroy it by accident, Velrix whispered. They understood it. The Academy Command Council assembled within minutes. Tall beings. Old beings. Powerful beings. One spoke first. End the broadcast, he ordered. This footage must not spread. It's already spreading, an officer replied. External observers recorded everything. Silence filled the room. Which species? The council leader asked. All of them, came the reply. Across the galaxy, screens turned on. Military worlds. Trade stations. War academies. They all watched the same thing. Humans walking out of a Deathworld. Alive. Not rescued. Not broken. The narrator on a distant world whispered. This is not a victory. This is a warning. On the Deathworld. James looked around. The sky was clearing. The air was easier to breathe. The world felt empty, like something had been removed. Mara checked the injured. Aliens and humans together. No. Separation now. One alien officer stepped forward. You broke the system, he said. That world was designed to kill. James looked at him. It did its job, he replied. It tried, the alien swallowed. What are humans? He asked quietly. James did not answer. Above them. Transport ships appeared, extraction units, medical teams, weapons, powered and ready. They did not land immediately. They waited. As if unsure. Observer unit. 7 spoke into his recorder. Human behavior does not match threat models, he said. They do not celebrate. They do not dominate others. They simply endure. Instructor Velrix arrived planetside soon after. She stepped onto the broken ground. Her boots shook. Not from fear. From understanding. She faced James. For the record, she said carefully, you are not supposed to survive. James looked at her. We noticed. Some of the alien cadets laughed nervously. Velrix took a breath. The council wants answers, she said. They want to know how humans adapted so fast. James shrugged. We grow up like this, he said. Not Deathworlds, life. Velrix stared at him. That is not an answer, she said. It is. James replied. Medical teams approached. One tried to pull James away. He waved them off. Check them first, he said. Pointing to the aliens. The medic hesitated. then obeyed. That moment was recorded, shared, watched, across the galaxy. Reactions exploded. Some worlds called humans heroes. Some called them monsters. Military leaders demanded human data. Scientists asked for human limits. Politicians asked one question only: can they be controlled? The council reconvened. One member spoke sharply. Humans must be restricted. They broke a controlled system. Another replied. They can break others. Velrix spoke for the first time. They followed the rules, she said. The system escalated. Because of them, the leader replied. Velrix met his gaze. No, she said. Because it failed. On the Deathworld, the humans boarded the transport. No celebration, no cheers, just tired faces, as the ship lifted off. James looked down. The planet was quiet, peaceful, almost calm. Mara sat beside him. You think they'll leave us alone? She asked. James smiled slightly. No, he said. We scared them. The ship jumped to hyperspace. Behind it, the Deathworld remained broken. Across the galaxy, training programs were paused. Deathworld simulations were reviewed. Rules were rewritten. One truth spread faster than any signal. Humans were no longer candidates. They were variables. Unpredictable. Dangerous. Necessary. In a quiet council chamber. Someone said the words aloud. We trained them to survive. Another replied softly. No, we trained them to lead. Far away, James closed his eyes. For the first time since landing, he slept. The humans did not rest for long. They were not allowed to. The transport ship moved through deep space in silence. No music, no lights. James opened his eyes. Something felt wrong. The ship was too quiet. No crew voices. No system sounds. Mara noticed it too. This isn't a medical transport, she said softly. James sat up slowly. Too clean, he replied. Too empty. Around them, the alien cadets were asleep, sedated. Only the humans were awake. That was not an accident. A calm voice filled the ship. Attention, human cadets, it said. Remain seated. James looked up. That's not Academy protocol, he said. The lights changed. White to blue. Containment. Mode. Mara stood. Sit down, the voice ordered. She? DIDN single quotes T. The voice continued. This is not punishment, it said. This is evaluation. James laughed quietly. Of course it is. A screen activated in front of them. Council members appeared. Shadows hiding their faces. You exceeded expectations, one said. You broke a system that never failed. Another voice followed. That makes you dangerous. Mara crossed her arms. So this is another test? She asked. Yes, the council replied. A final one. James' eyes hardened. You already tested us, he said. You just didn't like the result. The ship suddenly. Shoop. Stars vanished. Dropped out of hyperspace. James looked outside. Nothing. Just darkness. Then the lights revealed it. A structure. Massive, black, silent. A null zone facility. No signals. No energy fields. No escape. This station removes all advantages, the council said. No gravity control. No AI, no systems help. Mara understood first. You want to see who we are without tools, she said. No, the council replied. We want to see if you turn on each other. The docking clamps locked. The doors opened. Humans were pushed inside. No weapons. No armor. Just clothes. The doors sealed behind them. Inside the station, the air was cold. Not deadly. Uncomfortable. Cameras followed every movement. James looked around. They're afraid, he said. Mara nodded. That makes people cruel. The test began without warning. Sections of the station sealed off. Lights flickered. Supplies were limited. Food was enough for half the group. The message came again. Only some of you will leave. Silence filled the room. An alien cadet woke up. Confused. Then another. They realized quickly. Fear spread. One alien shouted, "They did this because of you." He pointed at the humans. A human stepped forward. "No," she said calmly. "They did it because of fear." The station temperature dropped. Arguments started. Whispers. Accusations. The council watched closely. "This is where they break," one said. But the humans did not fight. They gathered. Shared food first. Not last. That confused the observers. One alien attacked. Tried to steal supplies. James stopped him. Not with violence. With words. "If you do this," James said quietly, "you become what they expect." The alien hesitated. He dropped the food. The council frowned. The system escalated again. Darkness. Total. No light at all. Panic screams echoed. Humans spoke calmly. "Stay close. Count breaths. Hold hands." The darkness lasted hours. Then lights returned. Supplies were still there. Untouched. The council members shifted uncomfortably. "This makes no sense," one said. "They should be competing." "They are," another replied. "Just not the way we planned." The final message came. "Decision time," the voice said. "Choose leaders. Choose survivors." James stepped forward. "No," he said. The voice paused. "No?" It repeated. "We're done choosing," James continued. "You already chose." The camera zoomed in. "You chose fear," James said. "And fear makes bad leaders." Mara looked straight into the camera. "You wanted monsters," she said. "You trained protectors instead." Silence. Long. Heavy. The station doors opened. Medical teams rushed in. The test ended, not because the council decided it, because they had nothing left to test. Later, alone in a chamber, Velrix watched the recordings. "They didn't fail," she whispered. An officer nodded. "They didn't obey either." Velrix leaned back. "That's the problem," she said. Outside the station, the humans stood together. Free. But watched. James looked at the stars. "They won't stop," Mara said. James nodded. Double quotes. "No," he replied. "They'll try again." He smiled faintly. "And next time, it won't be a test." The message reached every human at the same time. Not a command. Not a threat. A request. James stood in the eyes. Briefing hall as the words appeared on the screen. "The Galactic Council requests human assistance." The room was silent. Mara crossed her arms. "That's new," she said. "They usually order." James nodded slowly. "That means they're losing." The screen changed. A star map appeared. Red zones spread across it like wounds. "These are active war fronts," a council speaker said. "Multiple systems under attack." The enemy appeared next. Tall, cold, mechanical. The Krell Collective, a species that did not fear pain, did not fear death, did not retreat. "They adapt faster than any force we faced," the council continued. "Our fleets are failing." James watched closely. No emotion. Just information. "You want humans," Mara said. "Because we adapt too." The council did not deny it. "We want you to train our forces," the speaker said. "Advise strategy. Survival tactics." James stepped forward. "You already tested us," he said calmly. "You already tried to break us." The council chamber went quiet. "This is different," the speaker replied. "This is war." James looked at the map again. Worlds burning. Civilians fleeing. He understood the trap. If humans refused, billions would die. If humans agreed, they became weapons. What's the real cost? James asked. Not another council member answered. You will not be under full council control. Mara laughed once. So, no control, she said. Limited control. The council corrected. James turned to the humans behind him. They're scared, he said. They want our strength, not our voice. A human officer spoke up. If we help, she said, we do it our way. The council hesitated, then nodded. Agreed. The first deployment was fast. Too fast. Human advisors were placed on alien ships. Alien crews watched them closely, some with hope, some with fear. On one battle cruiser, alarms screamed. Krell drones breached. The hull. Alien soldiers froze. They waited for orders. James didn't shout. He moved. Seal here, he said. Fall back there. Break line of sight. The aliens followed without thinking. The Krell. Advanced. Cold. Precise. Humans used. Chaos. Explosions. Traps. False retreats. The Krell paused. That pause cost them the battle. The ship survived. Word spread quickly. Humans changed the fight. On another world, a human-led unit held a city for 3 days. Outnumbered, surrounded. Did not win by force. They won by refusing to give up. Ground. Krell logic failed. They could not understand resistance without. Retreat. The galaxy watched again. Humans did not charge. Blindly. They endured. They adapted. They protected civilians. First. They confused everyone. A council member whispered. During a private session, they don't fight like soldiers. Another replied. They fight like survivors. But success brought fear. Some commanders ignored human advice. They wanted glory. They lost fleets. Blame followed. Some pointed at humans. They provoke. Escalation. One leader accused. Velric stood before the council. You asked them to fight, she said. They fight to win. The council was divided now. One faction wanted more humans. Another wanted limits. James received a private message. Classified. Authorized. A warning. They plan to isolate human forces. Mara read. Keep them contained. James exhaled. They're afraid again. Yes, she said. And fear makes people dangerous. On the battlefield, the Krell adapted again. They stopped attacking fleets. They targeted civilians. Human protected zones were hit first. A message arrived from a burning colony. They're coming for the humans. James stared at the screen. They learned, he said quietly. They learned what matters to us. Mara met his eyes. That means the war just changed. Across the galaxy, humans prepared. Not as tools, not as weapons, but as leaders. And far away, the Krell Collective adjusted its strategy, not to defeat fleets, but to break humans. The warning came too late. The colony world of Lareth Prime was quiet when the attack began. No alarms. No fleet signals. Just fire. Krell strike units appeared inside the atmosphere without warning. They did not target military bases. They targeted shelters, hospitals, evacuation centers. Places marked safe. Human teams were there. James felt the impact before the message arrived. The ground shook. The sky burned. Civilian zone hit. A voice shouted over the comms. Krell units everywhere. James ran. No orders. No planning. Just movement. Mara followed close behind. Smoke filled the streets. Alien civilians screamed and ran in every direction. Krell drones advanced in perfect lines. Cold, silent, a human squad formed a barrier. They did not retreat. They stood between the civilians and the machines. Fall back. An alien officer shouted. You'll be overrun. James shook his head. Not today, he said. The fighting was brutal. Close. Personal. Humans fought slower than machines, but they fought smarter. They used walls, debris, angles. Every step the Krell took. They paid a price. Then the explosion came. A Krell core detonated inside a shelter. The blast threw James across the street. His helmet cracked. The noise faded. When he stood, the shelter was gone. Mara was already there. Digging. Hands bleeding. Help me, she shouted. They pulled survivors out. Too late. Too many. Human medic knelt silently in the rubble. Not moving. Chains froze. The Krell had calculated perfectly. Did not just kill. They hurt. That night, the humans gathered. No speeches. No anger. Just silence. Mara finally spoke. They did this because of us? James nodded. They wanted a reaction. An alien commander stepped forward. Fear in his eyes. What will you do now? He asked. James looked up slowly. We stop reacting, he said. We start deciding. The humans changed tactics that day. No more limited response. No more defensive lines. Human units began striking first. With rage. With purpose. Supply routes vanished. Command nodes collapsed. Krell logic centers were targeted. The Krell adapted, then failed. Because humans did something new. They used empathy. Captured Krell units were studied. Patterns learned. Humans realized something shocking. Krell did not understand sacrifice. They did not understand choosing death for others. That was the weakness. Human forces created traps that required choice. Save one unit, or another. Protect resources or soldiers. The Krell hesitated. That hesitation killed them. Across the galaxy, reports changed tone. Krell advance. Slowed. Krell units withdrawing. Krell requesting negotiation. The council panicked. They are winning too fast, one member sighed. Velrix slammed her hand on the table. They are winning because they stopped pretending to be tools. On the battlefield, James watched a burning horizon. Mara stood beside him. We crossed a line, she said quietly. James nodded. Yes. Do you regret it? He thought of the shelter, the medic, the civilians. No, he said. But I won't forget it. A new message arrived. From the Krell Collective. Not encrypted, not hostile. A simple statement. Human behavior is unacceptable. Human resistance is inefficient. Human resolve is illogical. James smiled sadly. That's fear, he said. Mara looked at him. They finally understand us. James shook his head. No, he replied. They understand what we become when pushed. Behind them, human forces prepared for the final phase. Not extermination, conquest, an ending, one the galaxy had never seen before. And far away, for the first time in their existence, the Krell prepared to retreat. The war did not end with a final battle. It ended with a choice. The Krell Collective retreated from 3 systems at once. No attack, no warning. They simply left. Galactic. Sensors confirmed it. Enemy fleets vanished. Into deep space. The Council did not celebrate. They were confused. Retreat was not a Krell behavior. James stood in a quiet command room when the message arrived. Not from the Council. From the Krell. One sentence. We cannot predict. Humans. Mara read it twice. That's it? She asked. No threats? James nodded. That's surrender, he said. The Council gathered for the final time. Every major species was present. Fear hung in the air like smoke. One council member spoke. War is over because of humans. Another added quickly, and it nearly destroyed us. Velrix stood. Slowly. She looked older now. Tired double quotes. We made the same mistake again, she said. We thought humans were weapons. She looked at James. They were never weapons. What were they? Someone asked. Velrix answered softly. Limits. The council turned to the humans. James did not stand tall. He did not smile. He simply spoke. You tested us, he said. You pushed us into Deathworlds. You watched us suffer. No one interrupted. You tried to control us, he continued. You failed. The room was silent. We did not win because we are stronger, James said. We won because we choose who we protect. A council member whispered. That makes you dangerous. James nodded double quotes. Yes, he said. It should. The council voted. New laws were written that day. No human would ever be placed in forced testing again. No Deathworld training with humans involved. No containment programs. Not out of kindness. Out of respect. And fear. Forces returned home. Not as heroes. Not as rulers. Just humans. On Earth. The sky was clear. James stood on a hill, overlooking a quiet city. Mara joined him. You think they'll leave us alone now? She asked. James watched the sunset. They won't test us again, he said. But they'll watch. Mara smiled faintly. Let them. Far away, in alien academies, training manuals were rewritten. One line was removed. From every book. Humans cannot survive Deathworld. Training. It was replaced with something new. Humans adapt until the test breaks. Instructor Velrix submitted her final report. Her last line was simple. Humans do not conquer worlds. They endure them. And when endurance is not enough, they change the rules. Years later, young cadets asked why humans were never tested again. Their instructors answered honestly. Because the last time we tried, they said, the galaxy learned something it could not forget. And across the stars, whenever a system faced impossible odds, someone always asked the same question. Are the humans coming? Because everyone knew the truth. Humans don't survive Deathworlds. They make the Deathworlds survive them.